This is Doug Payne, and you're looking through the ears of Hannah Moor, who's owned by Jane Dudinsky. This is our third installment for the U.S. event horse Futurity, and we figured we were just a little bit ahead of the game, but wanted to bring this to you, being that she just finished up her first event. I figured the view between the ears is the best introduction before we head out to these competitions. So this was at Paradise Farm in Aiken, and Hannah's here in the Beginner Novice. We do a lot of preparation leading up to their first competition, and it's really all about getting them comfortable in a chaotic environment. So that was taken at home, that photo. We end up just leading the babies around as if they're just big dogs. So they end up playing jump crew or just hanging out watching other horses go. And frankly, if I can be near the jump and the horse is cantering at us initially the first time or two, and especially with Hannah's case, she's definitely how do I put this best? She's a hotter type. Her nature is just to be more reactive, and she is very certain that her way is the best way. So just like any good mare, eventually, once they come around, it'll be a incredible asset, but initially it can be a bit more challenging. But Hannah's then seen a whole lot going on at home. She's been now to 3 different shows, jumper shows. We started off in earlier episodes with her first rounds in the hunters, and then went on to do the .75 jumpers. So she would have seen the warm-up already, and she would have seen some scary looking courses. And of course, with the cross-country schooling that we've seen in the previous blog post, I think we're ready to go. So our dressage test, we're heading into this competition really looking to have a confidence building experience and really expose her to the world around and what she will be certainly become well more familiar with in the years to come. So as you see, as we're going through the test, there are moments that are exceptional, right? She can be a very open, loose, free-flowing horse, beautiful gaits, both walk, trot, and canter. And I choose to really think about focusing on those really good moments and trying to obviously encourage those to occur more frequently. There are times that she does get distracted, and with her, she's certainly more challenging than a lot of other horses in that when she does get distracted, she can get pretty stiff on the right rein on the right side. She's just a bit stiffer on the right. And when that happens, as she gets stiff, she tends to get crooked. Being that she does have a fair bit of power, right, she gets crooked and then loses her balance, and then sort of it's like all the wheels fall off for a moment. So as that happens, I'm really gonna, again, try to just underreact and not make a big deal out of any of it, and try my best to get her back in a reasonable orientation, and again in a soft way, and then reassure her that that's really what we're looking for. And just to, again, as we step into the walk, step in, she starts to take a deep breath, and I'm going to give her a big pat. And even though we're middle of the test, it's always a good thing to try and figure out ways to assure her that really none of this is a big deal. And it's a very encouraging sign. I think you can see in the walk here when she gets those couple relaxed steps. I mean, she's got a massive overtrack and really good free-flowing movement. So I'm thinking in the future it's going to take a little bit of time to get there, but she will be very competitive in the first phase here. As we get towards the end of the test here, my overall thoughts, I think she had so many really good moments. There are certainly parts that she ends up bouncing off the wall or gets tight in her back and swaps or gets crooked. None of that in the end is going to matter at all. But the nice thing is that she never really totally loses it and then you can't get it back, right? There are moments she gets distracted, but then she can come back, be settled, and again you get the picture where she will be in the future. And so it's a very exciting horse going forward. So as we're heading now into show jumping, the great thing is that same reactive nature, that same sharp nature makes her incredibly careful. So we've got our show jumping here, first fence, a little spooky, but I wouldn't expect anything less. At Paradise, they run the show jumping prior to the cross country, which I think for the babies is a really big advantage because they've already now seen a number of courses at different venues in how we start them. So this would become quite familiar for her, where the cross country is going to be more foreign. My goal throughout the ride is to try to get her settled, grounded, and easy and quiet. She has no limit to where she's going to end up as far as her jumping ability. I mean, she's super talented, got tons of power. Her reactions are exactly what you'd like, and that, again, if she ever touches a rail, which seldom ever does happen, she's not going to make the same mistake twice. So as we're coming through the course here, again, the first couple of jumps may be a bit sharp. She did get a little bit stuck to the gate and wanted to go visit her friends, but she did quickly come out of it. So again, I'm not bothered at all. I'm really going to try to basically underreact to any sort of oddball disturbance that might occur and just give her the confidence that nothing here is a big deal and we're just going to stay in a settled, quiet manner. I'm heading now to the last. Then we get a little crooked in the turn, but as you can see, her jump is just pretty incredible. So we wrapped up our show jumping there well within the time and clear on the jumping. Now we head out onto cross country. This venue, I think it has a lot of great aspects. There's a ton of terrain. The jumps are really well constructed. The footing is excellent. All would really make for great ingredients to encourage the horses to become more and more confident, and it gives them a great introduction to cross-country courses they're going to see in the future. The first couple fences I think are a bit challenging, and especially for Hannah, she really does love all of her friends, so you've got to canter away from the warm-up, which is always a little more difficult than it would be had we had it switched around. But she handled it really well. She may have looked at the first fence a touch, but nothing much at all. By the second, I knew I was in good shape. And so I will try to make the smoothest path possible throughout the course. So there I ended up really to make a nice flowing sort of S-turn there. Ended up angling the third fence. Up bank, there was actually a bit to look at off to the right. I'd expect nothing less with the babies that there is going to be things throughout the entire course that's going to catch their eye. And so every time it does happen, I'm looking just to, again, underreact, try to keep them straight as possible. And really from day one, from the first time that we do introduce them to jumps, there's no other option but you're getting to the other side. And so if she does look, and I get a bit defensive, she may quicken a hair, but I'd rather her quicken a little bit and get over than do anything other than that. But as you can see, she really does settle into a really nice rhythm. She's got a very good uphill balanced gallop. This I thought was actually a pretty challenging jump. It doesn't look like much of a hill, but that log was placed just at the beginning of the hill, and then you end up sort of running down on the backside. I thought it was a really good addition to the course because it's a great element of cross-country design to introduce at such an early stage that the horses get very familiar with jumping uphill, down the hill, sideways, doesn't much matter. So here we're heading into the water, and with all of the babies, especially the first couple times out, I will always try to figure out a way to school the water. It gives them a great opportunity. Obviously, I didn't need it there at all. She just trotted in like absolutely nothing that she hadn't seen 1,000 times before, but gives her an opportunity to get her feet wet twice, again, reducing the pressure. So if she did take a peek or wanted to look, I wouldn't have any reservations just letting her come back down to a walk, or frankly, if she wanted to go down and sniff it, as long as she's still thinking forward, I'm going to give her as much time as possible. So as we're getting towards the end of the cross country here, Hannah shows a ton of potential. She is not bothered by absolutely anything at all. Great gallop, and she's going to be bottomless. So I think it's going to be a very, very competitive, difficult horse to beat in the future. She finished up her first beginner novice here in 6th, and so really couldn't be much happier. I mean, it's just going to be one of those things. She needs to go out and see the world and become comfortable that nothing's out there to really get her. Check back in a few weeks' time for our next episode. And also Instagram and Facebook, both at DP Equestrian, would give you a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes pictures and videos of all the babies that we have upcoming.